There are a number of Republicans who have come out against this bill. You heard some of the language being used, irresponsible, reckless, and the like. But I'm told that after this interview, you'll head into the chamber and vote in favor. Is that right? And if so, why?
That is right, Connell. The question isn't who's excited about this deal. Nobody's excited about this deal. The question is the next deal going to be any better? And I'll tell you, I think the answer is no. The House, led by Democrats, has the White House over a barrel when it comes to debt ceiling and budget issues. You saw my big freshman class in 2011 extract $2 trillion worth of concessions out of President Obama, and you're seeing Nancy Pelosi try that very same thing here.
So what are you most worried about? If this were to drag on and this were not to pass, that the debt ceiling then becomes an issue, and that hurts you politically or hurts the economy and the markets? Or?
Well, yeah, I'm not worried about the politics. I'm worried about the policy, and you're exactly right. I don't have a consensus in this country on budget cutting. I campaigned on cutting budgets, but President Trump didn't. Nancy Pelosi didn't. Mitch McConnell didn't. And so I've got the deal that the leadership has cut. If this drags on, folks start to get nervous and spending just goes up.
Now, by that same token, spending, as it continues to go up, at some point, everyone says the same thing, that at some point it must be dealt with. So how do you kind of square that circle from where you sit and look at it and say, all right, I'm going to vote for this because you say I'm not going to get a better deal. It's the reality of how the House is constructed. I get that. But how do you know when we're at that point where we must deal with it? What do you look at?
Well, remember that we're only talking about the small portion of the budget that's discretionary spending today. That discretionary spending budget has not gone up $1 in the 10 years I've been in Congress. We've kept that spending completely flat. I can control this end of the spending. What I need to do is go after those mandatory spending programs that need so much reform, preserving
Nobody's
Medicare.
Doing that, though, Congressman.
Nobody's doing that.
Now, in your party is what? Nobody. Either party. So I guess that's the question. When is that going to happen? What has to happen? Is it some kind of black swan event, or the market has to tell you? What has to happen for you guys to actually deal with that?
I hope it doesn't take one of those crises. I understand many people think that it would, but just remember, 2 years ago we came out and we reformed the Medicaid program for the first time. $1 trillion in mandatory spending reductions through the Medicaid program. We lost that vote ultimately in the Senate when Senator McShane decided to vote no. We passed that bill in the House. That's the largest reform of mandatory spending in my adult lifetime. I have men and women on both sides of the aisle, Connell, who would gladly trade away their seat to save this republic for their children and their grandchildren. I just need leadership to want to work in that direction, too. We're trying to encourage the president on that. I know Democrats are trying to encourage Nancy Pelosi on that as well.